Welcome to Coach's Corner, Cat fans. Week two, we are going to play Bellefontaine this week. And so we're going to review the Kenton game. We're going to do a little spotlight this week. Talk about Kenton's game again, and then preview Bellefontaine, and then a couple spotlights. One senior and one support staff member that really helps our program. So let's get started here. So last week, Kenton came to town for opening day, and this was the last meeting with Kenton. Gosh, it started, I'm sure, before I got here. So in the early 2000s, maybe even before 2000, there were a couple playoff games, I think, in the early days. And then over the years, we played them every year except in the COVID year in 2000. We did not play Kenton, so that was the only meeting once we got started with them. And so if you didn't know, we won the game 29-12 in a good hard-fought game for about 2.5 quarters. I believe the score was maybe 12-6 at half, I believe. So we defensively, defense played great. We gave them their first score. We fumbled a punt on our 10, on the 10-yard line, and so they did score a touchdown early in the game. And then their other touchdown came when in the fourth quarter, when our young guys were in, our backups were in against their starters, and they got a touchdown to make it 12-6. So looking back at the game offensively, we moved the ball really well, running and passing. I think we had a running back, Cody Depwig, had 140 yards rushing, had a 92-yard run, which is, I think, third in the record books. Bay played Balin Blockberger, was our quarterback, and was, I think, like 16 for 23, something like that. Unfortunately, we did have 3 turnovers on offense. So we had the 1 drop punt, fumbled punt, and then we had 3 other turnovers. And we still had 6 scores. We had 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals, and then a couple times we got down in there. Had some penalties on our first drive that ended up in a field goal. We had another drive and threw an interception, I think, on about the 5 or 10-yard line. So we had some opportunities that we didn't take advantage of. But overall, with lots of new guys, good win for us, 29-12. Bryce Couchot is a sophomore kicker. Cody Depwig, in the summer, we thought would be our kicker, but his groin, for some reason, when he kicks, bothers him a little bit. And Bryce had worked pretty hard. Was a freshman kicker last year. Did a really good job. Actually broke a school record. All those good kickers we've had over the years, and we've never had one of those really good kickers have 3 field goals in a game. I guess the good sign of that is we're scoring touchdowns probably. But Bryce had three field goals, which, when 2 of those happened, it was a crucial part of the game. So good for Bryce. Special teams played a huge part in this game. I think we kicked off 6-7 times, and I think they got outside the 25, maybe 1 or 2 of those. And so we were holding them, making them go 80 yards approximately on those drives. We had 3 kickoff returns. They scored twice and then 1.5. And I think all 3 of those we were between the 45 and the 50. So huge difference there. They had a punt, a high snap on a punt right before half. There was 9 seconds to go in the half, and he snapped it over, and he couldn't punt it, and it was on the ground, and I don't even know who recovered it. I guess they maybe recovered it, but it was on the 5-yard line. So we got a field goal out of that. So special teams was huge for us, and hopefully that will continue. So 29-12 in the last meeting with Kenton. We are not in the same division with Kenton, so we would not meet them in the playoffs unless something were to change in the upcoming years. So we move on to Bellefontaine. We played Bellefontaine last year. It was a good, solid game. I can't remember the exact score. Maybe I'm going to throw out 31-18, maybe something like that. In a good game. We jumped on them early. And then after the first quarter, it was a pretty even game, I would say. Bellefontaine is Division III, and so last year they're 8-2. They feel like they're going to be a good team to win 8, 9, 10 games. So if we can beat them, we'll get lots of computer points. So that's a huge game for us, and we've talked a lot about that. Sometimes you don't view the non-league games as important, but for us, those computer points are huge, especially if the team's going to win a bunch of games. So in this matchup this year, really good skill players on both sides. They got pretty much all their skill guys back. We have several of ours back, and so we feel like that's a great matchup for both teams. So that'll be interesting. They have a quarterback that is committed to Ohio State, about 6'3", 215 pounds. They have a running back that returning, I'm sure, was a 1,000-yard rusher. They have two good wideouts, and a big old doesn't line up as a fullback, but a wing and a slot guy that's 245 pounds. So they have some good weapons, but we have some good weapons too. So we feel good about that. And so the other matchup will be between all the up front guys, which are almost all new on both teams. And so their O-line are a bunch of new guys. Our O-line's all new. Our linebackers, even though we feel like one of the best cores of our team are three linebackers that Jack played a lot last year, but Miles played at the end of the year. Cody D was a defensive end last year, but they're good football players. So a good matchup between the O and the D line and the linebackers, and see which of those two groups can win the battle of the line of scrimmage. So this week is a 7 o'clock game. Mike was just talking about some schools have backed their games up to 8 o'clock. I don't know. I don't see us doing that, but you never know because of the heat. And so we'll see when that time comes. If anything were to change, I'm sure it will be all over social media. So Bell Fountain, 7 o'clock this Friday at Coldwater. So like I said last week, we have 3 home games to start the season. So moving on and finishing up here, Spotlight. I'm going to do each week. I'm going to do a senior or maybe 2 seniors, and then someone that either works at school or in the community, or a group of people that really help our program. So tonight's Spotlight, I'm starting right at the top of the athletic department with Eric Goodwin. And so Eric's been here, I guess, maybe longer than me, so at least probably almost 25 years. He does an excellent job of making it easy for us coaches just to coach with all the things that go along with programs, whether it's busing, whether it's meals, whatever it might be, whether it's traveling, whether it's organizing things for the other team coming to town, all those types of things. Eric does a great job. And another thing that Eric does that most school ADs don't do or don't have to do, and that is hosting all kinds of tournaments. And that takes a lot of work because it takes a lot of personnel. So we just had the Spike Off volleyball tournament last Saturday for the last several years. So all of a sudden, we got 8 teams coming to Coldwater, and we have 2 or 3 wrestling tournaments, and we host lots of tournament games. And so most schools don't do that. So when you do that, that takes a ton of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of personnel, and Eric is in charge of all that. And so much appreciate what Eric does for me and for all the coaches and all the programs. So thanks, Eric. And then our player spotlight, I guess I'm going to just take them in order by their numbers, which is easy for me. And so number 1, Jack Reithman. So Jack changed his number this year, so he's number 1 this year. Jack is a senior wide receiver and corner, and played a bunch last week. Was our starting left wide out, and then played some on D to give some guys some breaks. So we have 4 corners that kind of rotate. And Jack caught a couple passes last week, which was good. I think we had seven different guys catch passes, so that's awesome. So Jack is a senior, like I said. Jack was the I believe the league champ for sure in the 100 and maybe the 200 last year in track, so that was awesome. Regional, I think he even won the district, I guess, in track, and so is on the verge of being a state placer here, hopefully this year in track. So congratulations to Jack on all his track, and hopefully he'll have a good fun season here with the Cavs this fall. So 7 o'clock, Bell Fountain, home, and if anything changes with that, I'm sure social media will be all over if something were to happen with the time.